And we must know that the worst of affairs are the newly invented matters or innovations in his religion, in the religion of Allah. For every innovation, every addition to or subtraction from Islam as it was revealed to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is a going astray, and every going astray is in the hellfire. And from that we seek Allah's protection. Waliyadu billah. My dear brothers and sisters in Islam, I have to tell you it is not an easy responsibility to stand before you in the footsteps of the great companions and the Salaf of the Prophet Muhammad, the Salaf of our deen, those who have come before us, and in the footsteps of the Prophet alayhi salam from this mimbar. And I only do it because I've asked, or I've been asked, pardon me. We don't ask for this responsibility. And many times I wish that someone else would take that responsibility in the Imam's absence. But I ask that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide my speech and make my words to be of benefit to myself and to you, and to serve as a reminder for our community. We are closing in on the final days of this month of Muharram, the first month of the Islamic calendar in the new year 1436, Ba'ad Hijrah. And before this month leaves, I thought it would be appropriate for us to remember this great episode in the life and history of Islam, the life of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and in the lives of many of the Muslims. And that episode is filled with many, many lessons. And I'm talking about the episode of the Hijrah, the migration of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam from Mecca to Medina. But many of us know about the story of the Prophet's migration, his Hijrah. Many of us know the two preceding Hijrahs that took place from Mecca to Abyssinia, to Ethiopia. And we don't intend to recount the incidents of that event. But I want to talk today about the Hijrah that is necessary, or a prerequisite, a requirement to take place before one even considers to make a physical migration from one place to another. When we talk about Hijrah in Islam, we know that there is a linguistic meaning of the word Hijrah, to immigrate, to leave one land to go to another. And many of you who were not born here in America have made Hijrah to America for various reasons. Some for academic reasons, some for economic reasons, some for political reasons, for safety, to seek refuge from a difficult situation or maybe oppression in your homeland. But we're not talking about that type of Hijrah. When we talk about Hijrah from the Sharia context, we're talking about leaving one's state of being, one's condition that is jeopardizing his Islam, that is making him unable to fulfill his deen or to fulfill the obligations of his deen, to a state of mind or to a place where he can practice his Islam, fulfill his obligations in a better manner. So I call to mind one of the prophetic sayings of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, wherein the Prophet ﷺ has said, narrated on the authority of Abdullah ibn Amr ibn al-As, may Allah be pleased with him, Al-Muslimu man salama muslimuna min lisanihi wa yadihi, wal-muhajiru man hajara ma naha Allah an. That the Muslim is one from whom the Muslims are safe, from his tongue and from his hand. And the muhajir, the immigrant, is one who leaves what Allah has forbidden. So before we talk about making a physical hijrah to the Muslim lands, We have to make the hijrah of the heart, from what Allah has forbidden to what Allah has made lawful and pure, halal. In Surah Al-Shu'ara, there's a very, very beautiful dua that is given to us, recounting the story of our father Ibrahim alayhi salam, who also made hijrah. And he took his family to make hijrah. So hijrah is not something that just started with Rasulullah alayhi salam. You see it happening throughout the lives of many of the anbiya, the prophets and messengers of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ibrahim, he prayed to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Rabbi habli hukman walhiqni bis-salihin waj'al li lisana sidqin fil akhirin waj'alni min warathati jannati an-na'im waghfir li li abi innahu kana min ad-dallin ولا تخزني يوم يبعثون يوم لا ينفع مال ولا بنون إلا من أتى الله بقلب سليم. This is a dua of the Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam, where he asks our Rabb, O my Lord, bestow upon me the hukm or the religious knowledge, and join me with the righteous, and grant me an honorable mention in later generations, and make me one of the inheritors in the paradise of delight, Jannat al-Na'im. And forgive my father, verily he is of the Daleen, the misguided ones, those who are in error. And do not disgrace me on the day when all of the creatures will be resurrected, will be raised up. All of the creatures, not just the human beings, all of the creatures. The day wherein neither wealth nor sons will be of any help, except for him who brings to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the qalb salim, the sound heart, the clean heart, the pure heart, the heart that is safe. And isn't this the objective of all human life? Really, when we look at the purpose for which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created us, which is none other than to worship Allah, to be obedient to Allah, we find that it is the yearning of the heart, the yearning of the soul, the human soul, to return home. Every living creature, when it comes into existence, it is seeking a direction. It is aiming towards a goal. What is the goal of the human being? The goal of the human being is to return to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to return to the place of our origin, which was in the loins of our father Adam alayhi salam, in Jannah, in Jannatul Na'im. But the only way that we can return there, the only way that we can make that hijrah, is to come with qalbin salim, with a pure heart. So my dear brothers and sisters in Islam, the Prophet ﷺ has given us so much guidance in the way of what we need to do to purify our hearts so that we can reach that destination, Jannatul Na'im. And from among the best of those instructions is given in the simple hadith that we have related, that a Muslim, or the Muslim, is one from whom other Muslims, all of the Muslims, are safe from his hand, and from his tongue. So we have to put our hands in check, not use our hands to harm other Muslims by physically harming them or doing something that will harm them, such as taking their property or writing something against them that will harm their reputation. We have to put our tongues in check so that we do not say anything that will harm other Muslims, that will not slander their reputation or defame them, debase them, disrespect them. This is how we preserve the heart. In fact, in a very beautiful hadith from the Musnad of Imam Ahmad, rahmatullahi alayhi, when talking about what we ask for 17 times a day, Ihdina as-sirat al-mustaqim. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, guide us on the path that is straight. Give us istiqamah, give us steadfastness. He said that, it is related that the Prophet ﷺ said that the believer will not be upon istiqamah. He will not be able to attain mustaqim, the status of mustaqim, until his heart is upon istiqamah, until his heart is steadfast. So what is it? The heart has to make the hijrah from that which Allah has forbidden to that which Allah has made lawful and pure. And then he said, and the heart will not be upon istiqamah, the heart will not be able to be mustaqim, the heart will not be steadfast until the tongue is upon istiqamah. Until the tongue speaks straight, qawlan sadida, speaks truthfully, speaks factually, as the Prophet ﷺ has said. من يؤمن بالله ويوم الآخر فليقل خيرا أو ليصمت. Whoever believes in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the last day, let him speak good. Let him speak khayran, a good word, or be quiet.